God is still working because you keep waking up. He's not going to leave you stranded. He's not going to leave you without things that you need. But you have to see it through. Like, you have to see it through those hard days. You have to fight yourself to get up, to keep moving forward, even when you don't want to, even when you feel frustrated, even when you feel like, God, I've done it already. I've done enough. Keep going. God needs you. He needs you to be the voice. He needs you to be a vessel. He needs you to operate in whatever it is that he created you to be. So even if you're discouraged and feel like I can't go forward, try again. What's up, y'all? Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode, another season of Let It Be the Podcast. I'm your host, Fergie, and I'm so happy to be here because we are 45 episodes into Let It Be. And I don't want to assume that you've been following along the journey, but if you have, I just want to thank you so much for your support and your encouragement. It has definitely carried me, especially over these last few months when I've been on this hiatus. But if this is your first time, thank you so much for tuning in. Let It Be the Podcast is all about releasing control and embracing grace. And that's what we're going to talk about today. I'm grateful because it's a lot to walk this thing out, especially to produce and to edit and to do all the things. I feel like when I took a break, it was just like, man, I started to enjoy the break a lot. And then life started to pile on top of everything. And I was just like, I don't know how I'm gonna do this. I don't have the strength to get up and record anymore, but I just decided that I didn't want to allow life to keep weighing me down. And so this moment, me, picking up and starting again, it's because of, my heart is like for my assignment, but it's because I know that God has called me to something so much bigger than me. And so I talk about that a lot on the podcast. And so this is me like walking out what I talk about. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm just excited to be able to be here, to be 5 seasons into a podcast. The amount of work that it takes to be consistent, to show up. Plus, there's a lot of things that happen behind the scenes, the inner work that happen, the spiritual work that happens that nobody sees, but to still get up and say, okay, in spite of my circumstances, God, I trust you. I'm going to continue to walk out the thing that you've given me. It is an honor to be able to be called and to do this. And so I'm just excited to be here because I ain't gonna lie, a lot of things have happened so far, and especially this year. And I was like, let it be who? Let it be what? I don't think I got it. And so I'm just super grateful. And I'm grateful that you're tuned in. Thank you so much for all of your encouragement, all of your support, all of your kind words. If you've been following along the journey, this has been a man. I'm grateful for people to be able to be on the journey with me. But if you have not, if you've never heard of Bree before, you never saw my podcast before, my name is Bree. I am from Kansas City. I currently live in Dallas. Quick testimony, I guess. My background is in radio. And so my dream when I was young was to be this radio host and do all the things. And I had the opportunity. But at the same time, I was getting a relationship with Christ. And God told me I had this opportunity to work for a major radio station that would have changed the trajectory of my life for sure. But it also would have led me down a path that wasn't following Jesus. And once I started to get a relationship with God and I got this opportunity, I wanted to live in Houston. And God told me, these are not the plans that I have for you. And if you take this, my hand is not on that. And that scared me. And I turned that opportunity down. And so ever since then, it has been a complete journey full of hills and valleys, a lot of valleys. But by the grace of God, I'm still here. And I thought that God took my dream from me. I thought I would never, ever do radio broadcasting again. And so I decided when I moved to Dallas, because God led me to Dallas. I didn't choose Dallas, but God led me to Dallas, and I told myself I would never do radio again. I'm never going to do this. But here I am. Okay. It's podcasting, but same difference. But that led me on a journey from trying to find my purpose and my identity and my title or my corporate position. I realized that like everything that I was trying to do on my own, it just didn't work. It never lasted long. And so that brought me to, like, I got my dream job. I got all the things that I thought I wanted, and I always felt empty inside. And so I asked God, like, what is my purpose? And that led me into a journey that led me to let it be. And so I talked a lot about that journey through the previous episodes. I've had a lot of amazing guests, and thank you to everybody who's been a part of this journey with me, people behind the scenes, people that have joined me on camera. I'm very grateful for you. But yeah, that's what this journey is. So let it be. It's funny, the title, all about releasing control, because that's really what I struggle with the most. And so being on this journey and walking with Christ has completely changed my heart. It's changed my mind. It's changed my outlook. I wasn't looking for it, but it found me. And so now I just want to do the best that I can to steward it wholeheartedly. And so that's what Let It Be is all about. That's who I am. That's the heart behind this. And if you clicked on the title, you know that I'm going to be talking about how, like, kind of talk about how to navigate through seasons of adversity, seasons of uncertainty, feeling like you're in the middle of nowhere. Because that's exactly where I feel a lot of times, actually. Like when I'm waiting on God to give me the next instruction or the next thing, sometimes when you're sitting in that in between, and it's just like, I feel like I've done everything. I don't know what's next, God. Like, it's frustrating. It's like, God, are you still with me? Because I promise, there's been so many times where I'm like, God, you must have taken your hand off of me. Like, this can't be it. Like, let me go and do something else. And I feel like God has allowed me to be in this season of dependence, like full dependence on him. And what I learned about dependence and being in, like, it's like adversity. It's like we try to automatically find a way to get out of it. Like, okay, well, this is like, if I do this, we got our own plans, right? The Bible says that a righteous man like has his plan, but the Lord orders his steps. And so I felt like I had my plan and my backup plan. And God was like, oh, okay, go ahead. Let's run through all them backup plans. And so I done ran through all the backup plans that I had, everything that, you know, if this was to go wrong, then I'm going to do this and that. All those things have come and gone. And now, like, my literal life is just on the mercy of God. Like, whatever happens, whatever I have, the fact that I'm able to still pay my bills and to eat, everything I have is really dependent on God. And I said this earlier I was talking to somebody about, like, understanding what a hard head make a soft behind is. That is literally, I have learned that lesson. Like, I used to hear the old folks say that back in the day. I didn't get it until now. Like, she gets it. She understands, because, like, my way doesn't work, you know? Like, my backup plan, like, God, like, you have to lean on him completely, trust in him completely. And so God has used that. He's shown me that. He's taken every ounce of cushion and comfort that I could, like, find to do my own. And it's like, okay, I'll provide as I'll order your steps and I'll provide as you walk in those steps. And so over these past couple of months, I found myself questioning that. I found myself like, you know what, God, I've done enough. I did everything you asked me to do. You know, come get me. That was my prayer a lot. I'm be transparent. Like, come and get me. The world is ghetto. Nobody wants to be here anymore. You know, like, I'm over it. I don't want to deal with this no more. But I keep waking up. And so the fact that I keep waking up, and it lets me know that even though, like, the outside world is scary and it's noisy and it's a lot of things going on, God still has a plan for you. And so if you clicked on this message and you're looking for some hope, some encouragement, I want you to know that you are not alone. That all of us face trials. All of us, I mean, if you are in a season of abundance, enjoy it, you know. But if you are in a season of adversity and you feel like you're in the middle of nowhere, and you feel like God has left you, you feel like maybe God changed his mind about you, or you feel like maybe the resources has dried up, maybe I need to go back to my comfort, or allowing other people to persuade you to walk away from the call or the thing that God is calling you to do. Like, this is you didn't click on this video by mistake. You're not listening to this by mistake, because if you don't need it now, you might need it later. So just know that, like, God, if you keep waking up, God has a plan for your life. And so I'm saying this to you as I'm saying it to myself, because I feel like I've been in the middle of nowhere for a long time, for months. And especially, like, since I've taken a break since the last season, I thought that, like, okay, God, I got momentum, you know, like, yeah, like, my warfare has been crazy. Every which way I look is warfare. It's like the enemy really is trying to, like, stop me. And maybe he's trying to stop, that's what he does. He wants to stop you. He don't want to see you walking in the will of God and pursuing the things that God has for you. He doesn't want that. And so he's going to try to stop you, discourage you, distract you, all the things, because that's just his job, you know. But I found myself like, God, I don't want to do this no more. Like, I'm not, like, the momentum that I had before is gone. The excitement that I had is gone. And to be honest, if it wasn't for, like, I'm so grateful for the people that God has placed in my life that spoke to the God in me, not just me, Bree's abilities, but like who God has created me to be. I'm so grateful for people, for my friends, who have reminded me of who I am and whose I am. You know, they didn't allow me to wallow in my frustration. They didn't allow me to wallow in just my seasons of suffering and say, you know what, God must have took his hand off, you know, too bad. Go back home or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just grateful for that, because I wouldn't have picked this up. And even now, like, honest, to be very transparently speaking, like, I'm still in a season and I feel like I'm in the middle of nowhere, but I know that God has given me an assignment. And so the fact that I was like, you know what, enough. Like, I don't want to just allow the enemy to keep stumping on me, stumping on my head, like occupying my thoughts and making me feel like I don't have a purpose no more. This is not working. It's not, you know, like, you followed God into this and he left you here, because that's how I felt. I know that's the enemy, but like, he was telling me, he was loud, and I was starting to believe it. Like, you know what, God did leave you here and left you. He left you hanging. That's why your life is looking like this. That's why people are leaving. That's why your relationships are changing. So the enemy was like in my head a lot, telling me, you know, like, God don't have a plan for you. It's over with. You did it. Now, you know, now he just wants you to suffer. And especially, like, it's hard when you see other people doing things and like doing the same thing you're doing. It's like their life look different. And God is like, keep your eye on me, you know. But that, I think that when you are in that space, the in between, and you don't really know what's going on, it is easy to feel like, you know what? Well, if I was doing the right thing, if God's hand was still in this, my life wouldn't still be like this, you know. And it's easy to look at other people like, oh, well, they must be doing it right. Or I think even the enemy was like, come back to your comfort. Because like, I've been like sober, like I'm sober now. I've been sober for a few years, sober, like from alcohol. Like, I haven't drank alcohol, but like, I found myself just wanting some kind of comfort, just something to make me feel better, something to distract me, something to take my pain away, something to take the frustration away. And I found myself, honestly, like, I mean, burying myself in the gym, but coming home and getting into bed, or isolating myself, not talking to nobody, being moody, all those things. And so I just decided, like, you know what, enough. Like, yeah, this season sucks, in hindsight, for the things that I want, but I also have been able to shift my perspective and see all the beauty that God has been restoring in this season, of feeling like I'm in the middle of nowhere. Like, God is always working, even when you can't see it, even when it doesn't look tangible. It's like since this time has gone, and I've shared of some things in my life about how, like, situations with my family not being as close, but like, God has restored my family. I get to hang out with my family, my brother, you know, we reconciled our relationship, had family barbecues. It feels like the little girl in me has been healing, being able to like fully depend on my parents and honor my parents. Like, he has really blown my mind in this time. And it's not in the tangible things, because a lot of times it's kind of like a plant. Like, there's the root work happens first. Roots got to grow a lot deeper before your flowers bloom. And so that's what God has just reminded me of in this time. Like, yeah, it might look like nothing is happening, but there's so many other things that's changing. But you got to open your eyes and take your eyes off of this one aspect of what you feel like it's supposed to be, and look at all these other answered prayers that God is answering right now. Because if I didn't, it's like, if I was so focused on this one thing, I would have missed it. Like, wow, I'm living in moments when I was praying that God would like restore my family. You know, I was praying that I had people that spoke to the God in me, that reminded me of my purpose, you know, that I had friends that understood me. Because I used to feel like, well, no, nobody walks in ministry, you know, nobody understands what this is like. And God has completely like changed my circle. He's changed just access. He's put me around people who, like I said, people who I would admire on TV, you know, like, I'm able to have conversations with. And so God is like he's really doing a lot of work, and it doesn't have to be shiny and pretty all the time. And so, like, for me, that's one of the things that's definitely helped me get out of the funk that I've been in, because it's like, God is working. He is moving. He is doing things. It might not look like you want it to look. It might not be how you want it to be, but he's still working. So if you are in the middle of nowhere, and if you don't even go further past this video right now, if you clicked on this for this point alone, God is still working, because you keep waking up. He's not going to leave you stranded. He's not going to leave you without things that you need. But you have to see it through. Like, you have to see it through those hard days. You have to fight yourself to get up, to keep moving forward, even when you don't want to, even when you feel frustrated, even when you feel like, God, I've done it already. I've done enough. Keep going. Because you keep waking up for a reason. Yeah, the world is ugly. The world is a lot of things is happening. It's a lot of hate and chaos going on in the world around us. But God needs you. He needs you to be the voice. He needs you to be a vessel. He needs you to operate in whatever it is that he created you to be. So even if you're discouraged and feel like I can't go forward, try again. Try again. This is me telling you, somebody who, like, I've been in the bed for weeks, but something in my spirit said, hey, try again. So if I'm actively up doing this, trying again, so can you. So if you hear nothing else that I say, try again. Walk away with that. You are not in the middle of nowhere to be stranded alone. God has a purpose and a plan for you. So I don't know. I feel like maybe somebody needed to hear that. I needed to hear that because I found myself just being in this space of, God, like I feel depleted in every way imaginable. I felt so depleted, and I felt like, God, how do I navigate this? And so I had to kind of draw back a little bit to see how God was actually working in my life, like to see the things that he was doing. Because I was like, okay, well, how have I been able to, like, move forward? And so I want to tell you five steps, 5 things that I've done that have helped me navigate just this season of adversity, this season of uncertainty, feeling like I'm lost, I'm in the middle of nowhere. But these are some of the things that's helped me, and so I hope that they'll help you too. And the first one is to first surrender. That's the biggest thing. Like, okay, this situation is so much bigger than me. Like, I'm at a space in my life where literally nothing that I do can fix this. Like, the only way I'm going to get out of this is if God does it. And so because of that, I have to acknowledge that, and I have to invite God into this space, because every time I try my way, it doesn't work. Every single time I try to maneuver my intellect, let me go get advice from this person or whatever. Every time I try it, it doesn't work. So I had to learn how to first surrender and to invite God into that space. First thing I had to do was start having honest conversations with God, praying to God, inviting him into that space. And God is not afraid of you. He's not afraid of your emotions. He's not afraid of your colorful language. He's not afraid of none of that. Like, he created you. He knows who you are. He knows every aspect of you. So talk to him. Prayer doesn't have to be anything that's super taboo. You just have a conversation with God. God, I need your help. Some days when I would wake up, like, because I tried to keep my practices, things in my routine, but it was like I felt like I've been on autopilot for a little bit. And I'm just like, God, like, sometimes my prayer was, help me. God, I can't do this today. Help me. And that was my prayer. Help me. So if that's all you got, cool. Ask him, help me. Another thing that I had to start doing was fasting. I started, like, intentionally fasting last year. But I made it a practice, especially like the warfare. Fasting is a sacrifice, first of all. And fasting is not just, oh, I'm going to get off social media for a few days. Yeah, do that. Like that. I think that is necessary. But I think that fasting consists of denying your flesh, limiting your distractions. And so something that I really, like, locked into, especially during these times, is like, yes, denying my flesh, but like pushing back my plate. And if you read Matthew 6, it'll give you all the instructions about, like, what fasting is and how you should fast. But pushing back my plate, denying my flesh. If you need to fast 3 days, 6 to 6, whatever that looks like, whatever God instructs you to do. But fasting gets you closer to God. It helps your mind get clear. It brings you clarity, and it brings you, it's fat. And like, I think sometimes we live in a culture where it's like, I'm going to fast for this. I'm going to fast for a husband. I'm going to fast for this. I don't really know if that's biblical. I know that fasting is it is not a, in case you might want to. The Bible says when you fast. I'm going to see Matthew, Mark, Luke, John. I'm going to look at the Bible really quick because I want to read this verse in Matthew 6. Should I have this ready? But it talks about, it says, the Bible says, when you fast, don't be like the hypocrites with a sour countenance, for they disfigure their faces, that they may appear to men to be fasting. But surely I say to you, they have their reward. But when you fast, not if, it says when you fast. When you fast, anoint your head, wash your face, so that you don't appear to men to be fasting. But your Father who is in the secret place, and your Father who sees the secret, will reward you openly. But your fasting is just to get closer to God. Fasting is not about what I can get from God. I'm doing this so I can get out of this space. It's like, okay, God, I need to get closer to you. Because if I allow myself to be distracted by everything that's happening, I'm going to miss you. I ain't going to be able to hear your voice. And so fasting has definitely helped me deny myself, but to also hear God more. And another thing is just as far as like leaning to God's presence, that's the second part. Like, yes, fasting to help you get into his presence, but being in his presence sometimes is just listening to worship music. You got to learn how to guard your gates, your eye gates, your ear gates, what you are surrounding yourself with, because you can't be doing all those things and then going back and feeding yourself poison. Like, oh, okay, I'm fasting, or, I'm praying, but then I go back and I listen to music that is the opposite of like God's word. Especially like when you go through a breakup, it's like, oh, I'm about to listen to sad songs. Now I'm more sad. It's like, make this make sense, And so like I've learned to like, I've rarely listened to secular music now, but I had to be really intentional with my spirit, the things that I'm like consuming. Certain TV shows, I can't watch certain things no more. You know what I'm saying? Because it would take my mind and put my mind in a place that was like not conducive to my already down, my emotions. I'm already feeling low. You know what I'm saying? And so I had to start guarding my gates as well. As I was like listening to worship music, just being mindful of what I consume, but then also really getting in the word. And yeah, like the Bible streak is cool. Waking up and reading those daily devotionals are cool, but that ain't gonna sustain. Like you got to start like studying the word, listening to the word. Sometimes I go to sleep listening to the Bible. Like when the days that I didn't have the strength to get up and say, okay, I'm just gonna go and read John chapter 3. No, but I hit play and I lay in the bed and let the words play over me. But I had to like really like hold on to the word like it was all I had. I even found myself, I remember this one day, I was sitting in a car. I just was like, my mind was spiraling. And I think normally I probably would have turned on like some Nipsey Hussle or something aggressive. I just was like, I was angry. But I thought about it and I was like, you know what? I stopped and I read some Bible. And I think that that's so crazy. But I was like, it was a cycle. Like, oh, okay, I'm feeling away. I'm this, I'm that. I'm gonna have to listen to this music. It's aggressive. It's gonna make me feel better. But like, in all honesty, I was like, no, let me do something a little different this time, And so that was something that I noticed that I was doing different, that I didn't really operate in that space before. I just thought that was cool. But like really getting into the word, you have to you have to study and show thyself approved is what scripture says. So you got to know the word. You can't be just leaning on, oh, okay, well, like, I read this Bible verse or the Bible plan is cool. Like you need your own interpretation. Allow God to speak to you through scripture. So you get into the word, because that's definitely like helped me. Another thing, a third point that I was going to make is learn how to process with God, process your emotions with God. And when I say that, think back to where you were before, because like all of us are living in an answered prayer in some form or fashion. You might not have everything you want. Life might be sucking right now, but we are all living in answered prayers. And so like some of the things that's helped me, I've had to like kind of go back into gratitude. Like, God, thank you that my bills are paid. Thank you that I got food to eat. Thank you that I got somewhere to lay my head. Thank you that I'm not out on the street. Thank you for getting me through all those hard days. Somewhat like your hardest days, you've already gotten past them. You know what I'm saying? Days where I was like, dang, I don't know how I'm going to get through this. But then I think about all those moments where I'm like, when I just knew that this was the end for me before. I just knew I wasn't going to be able to get through this. And I'm like, dang, like I have gotten through every hard day. What makes this one different? What makes this season different? If God has done it before, why wouldn't he? If he keeps waking me up, you think he just want to wake you up to suffer? No, maybe God's trying to show you something. Maybe he's trying to get something out of you. Maybe he's trying to like help you uncover those matters of your heart. but God is not going to leave you. And so when I process my, like, God, this sucks. Cause like in my mind, I feel like, and I'll be trying to be careful with the words that I speak now, but it's like worst case scenario, baby. She's come already. The worst case scenario has already happened to me in my perspective. Like what I thought, the worst that would happen. It's happening, you know, but by the grace of God, I'm still here. I still got a sound mind. I got food to eat. I got a car to drive. My bills are paid. Even if I don't know how they're going to get paid at every moment, I have not gone without, not one time. Not one time. God has restored in so many areas, especially through my parents. And shout out to my parents. And I know I'll talk more about that later on in this season. But God showed me even in this time, because like when I first moved to Dallas, I was homeless and I was sleeping on somebody's dining room floor on an airbed. But I was so prideful. My parents didn't know how I was living when I moved here. They didn't know that when I ran out of money that I didn't eat. That I literally would eat oatmeal packs and survive. I would survive some days off of the packs of oatmeal, or go to Chipotle, eat, you know, get my bowl and split it in half and save it for the day. I was so prideful. I didn't want them to know that. I didn't want them to think I needed them. She needs you, okay? They're my parents. But when God revealed that to me, like, girl, you're so prideful. Do you want to go through this again? And so I feel like sometimes God will even allow you to go through something to be tested. Let's see how you are now. If I put you back in this situation, are you going to go back to those things? This is what your default setting. This is what you always do. Or are you going to do something different? And so in this time, like my mama even had to call and fuss at me because like, and I know that I don't know what the motherly instinct is, but I was laying in the bed and I don't know. I guess in my mind, I was just going to evaporate. I just was laying in the bed. I felt like, you know what? I'm just going to stay here until I evaporate. And my mama called me like, hey, do you got X, Y, Z? Do you need this? Well, why you didn't say nothing? And I really didn't even have an answer. And she was like kind of fussing at me. And I was like, dang, I needed that. Like, I didn't want to hear it necessarily at the time, but I just was like, okay, thank you. Like, it snapped me out of my zone that I was just kind of floating. But God is just being restorative to me in this season. As much as it has hurt, it has still been good. And now I find myself now, like when the old folks be like, when I think about what the Lord has done for me, I'm telling you, you keep living, you'll know. When I think about it, it's like, oh my God, he has never left me. He is so good, even through suffering. There's no time limit on suffering, by the way. Like, God must not be here because you still sad or you still suffering. Everybody gonna face a time of suffering at some point. But you don't know how long God is going to be in it, but will you still honor him? Will you still continue to pursue him? Will you still obey him, or will you go back to your worldly ways or go back to your comfort? And so, yeah, like I've had to like really, like this has been like, I know my roots is getting so much deeper because now I feel like I'll be trying to be careful with my words, but I'm like, all right, God, I'm not going to say can't nothing shake me. I ain't saying that, God. But what I am saying is that I know I'm a lot stronger now. I know I'm a lot stronger than what I've been before. That's what I'm saying, my Lord. But another thing that has been really helpful for me, even through my whole journey of like living in Dallas and all the things, is journaling. I made a vow a couple of years ago that I would journal every day, and it's literally just emptying your thoughts. I journal every single day. I literally have books and books and books of journals every day, even if it's just a brain dump, a recap of what I've done on my day. Because when I have to have those moments where I'm like, dang, I can go back in my journal a year ago today. What was I thinking? What was I going through? What happened to me? You're able to see your progress. You're able to see the things that you experienced before. So, I mean, I know God told me to document my journey since I've been here. So I've done a lot of that. But journaling definitely helps you process. It helps you get those thoughts out of your mind, because a lot of times we'll keep them in our head, especially if we don't talk to nobody. We don't got nobody to talk to. We don't feel like nobody understands. We'll keep them thoughts in our head and it'll make us crazy. And so I started to journal, and it's definitely helped me just as I process. But another thing, and I feel like this is a very important one, like all of these are important, but it's to get connected. And if you get connected and stay connected, I'll say that, like community. The Bible says like it's not good for man to be alone. And that means like it's not just about an intimate relationship. That's community. When I fall down, I know I can call my sister JoJo and she's going to be like, hey, and remind me. When I fall down, I know I can call a mentor and they're going to remind me of who I am, you know? And so like being connected to the right people, not the people that's going to feed you your vices, not the people that's going to take you like, let's go have a drink to get your mind off of it. No, I need to be able to lean on people who is going to lead me to the word, that's going to remind me of who I am, that's going to remind me of my purpose, that's not going to allow me to let my emotions spiral me to get me going to a space that I don't need to be. You know what I'm saying? And so getting connected is being honest with your community. Don't isolate yourself. If you have one person, all you need is one. If you got one person in your life, and if you don't, then it's just time to assess your circle. Identify something that somebody told me previously was like, and I think I shared this before. I always talk about Darius Daniels' book, Relational Intelligence, but he talks about your inner core, like your holy of holies, like those three people, those few people, but then your inner circle and then your outer circle, everybody else. But you got to identify, you got to put people in their right place, because your turn up friend might not be the friend that you go and you pray for, you know, like that's going to go and pray for you. Because you need a sound mind somewhere, you know what I'm saying? And so if you don't know who your circle is or know how to identify, ask God to show you, or go read that book, Darius Daniels. He does a great job with explaining that. But like, you need people in your life that's going to lead you back to God and not further away from him, especially in those seasons of adversity when comfort feels like the best thing to do. But another thing is like, go to church. Like, it's cool to be like, I got my own relationship with God. I pray, I read the word on my own, but it is nothing like fellowship, being in circle in the space with other people, like having a circle of believers, somebody else to encourage you, to like teach the word. Like in the Bible says, you study and show thyself approved. So you read the word too, but it's nothing like being in fellowship with other believers, helping you and being able to serve. Serving is like something that I hold very near and dear to. I think everybody should be serving, especially if you are a believer. You have to go back and give to others. You know, with the body, we made up of different things, you know? And so I think that like being like, when you isolate yourself, it's like the enemy is going to have a play field with you. You read the word, but then it's gone. But if you get yourself plugged in, you go to a Bible study, you join a small group, you serve with your kids' ministry or the tech team or whatever, like get yourself involved, because that also helps you stay accountable. So that way when people notice, hey, where Bree been? She ain't been to church. Hey, you know what I'm saying? Then you come around and it's different. That's just like listening to worship music on your own is cool. But then you go to a worship night, it's so different, you know? So I would just encourage you to like get yourself connected or stay connected. Identify the people that's in your life that's leading you closer to Christ and not further away from Christ. And I also, this is just free game. Like, I always try to surround myself with older, wiser people. People who lived a little longer, who done been in the faith a little longer, who got more wisdom, got more experience than me, because that's definitely helped me a lot just in my life. So I'm always connected I have a range of people, but you always need somebody that's older and wiser that's able to pour into you. And the last part I would just say is like, take care of yourself. Like, you don't have to feel bad for doing something that makes you feel good about yourself. And I would say like therapy. For me, therapy it's a form of self-care. And people, like, especially in our community, I feel like after COVID, we started to talk about therapy a lot, and then it kind of like, I don't know if people are still doing it, but it is like brushing my teeth, you know, like it's a necessity. It's something that I need, because you need an unbiased space to process with. And so therapy has been very beneficial for me. There's so many resources, so many programs. I'm sure you can find therapy through your churches, offer them. There's so many services. But I would say everybody needs somebody to talk to, and it might not always be the person that's in your life. It might need to be somebody who don't know you, who don't know, no bias. There's no bias with this, but you need a person that you're able to like process with. And then the last part, and this is something that God really got on to me about, was Sabbath. God was like, I'm not playing. Even God rested. After he made the earth and said, okay, he rested. And I feel like just because if he rested, why do you think you don't have to? So I had to start, like, I schedule it in my calendar. On this day, I'm not doing nothing. I'm going to pour into myself, my spirit, get around things that fill up my cup, read my word, rest. Like, the world is not going to fall apart if you take your hand off. Your world won't. I promise it won't fall apart. But what I know is that a lot of us are operating out of a space of deficiency. We just going and going and doing and doing. But your body's so tired, your mind's so tired because you ain't took no time to pause, to refill your cup. You pouring and pouring and you empty, or you get a little bit and you pour it right back out. We're supposed to serve from an overflow, but you ain't gonna ever get no overflow if you just on autopilot all the time. I gotta hustle. That hustle culture is dead, okay? That's gonna send you to the grave faster than you need to. So rest. I promise everything will be okay if you rest. The world is not gonna fall apart. It is a requirement. It is a necessity to your faith. It is a necessity to your body. It's a necessity to your mental health. So those are some of the things that I have done to help me navigate this season of uncertainty, of frustration, feeling like I'm in the middle of nowhere and I don't know where God is. I don't know if he's still listening. I don't know if he still wants to pursue me. Like, I've struggled with a lot of those things. And so, but that's some of the things that has helped me get out of my head to honestly pick the camera back up and say, hey guys, welcome to my podcast. Because I didn't know if I was going to get back to this point. I really didn't. I was like, well, let me wait until I feel better. Let me wait till life starts to make a little bit more sense. And then I can go. And God has shown me over and over again that my blessings don't come until I walk in obedience. I know maybe God might have told somebody else, like, oh, I'm going to do this for you in 6 months or whatever. God didn't tell me that. He tell me to do the next thing. And it's because, he speaks to you different. I suffer with control. Because if God told me what he wanted to do, or all of us, if he told us that, we'll get in the way. And so God is like, my word is a lamp to your feet and a light unto the path. That means, like, once I walk, then he'll tell me. Once I do the next thing. So, like, this is me literally, I'm actively walking out the things that I say because, like, I don't know what's next. I do feel like I'm in the middle of nowhere, but I also know that this middle of nowhere has been so valuable, and it'll be valuable for you if you take your time to pause and process. What is God trying to show you in this? What has he taught you? What have you learned? That's why rest is important. What have you learned? Because I think that God maybe allow you to feel like you're in the middle of nowhere so you can learn how to trust his direction and not your own. You've been steering your ship for too long. God is like, okay. Now you're going to have to wait for me to direct your path because you think you know better. And look at where it's gotten you thus far because you think you know everything. Another thing that God revealed to me in this is being in the middle of nowhere because, like, all my resources, I gotta have. And God's like, now you got to depend on me. Like, am I Lord of your life or are you? And so all my resources, my direction, my plans, it's like now I can only lean on him. I can only lean on his word. Maybe you feel isolated or you've been isolated from the world that you once knew so you can really get to know God. Not just God as Lord, the person who's going to judge you, but Lord, I'm your friend. I'm your comforter. I'm your counselor. I'm your helper. I'm your provider. Maybe he had to pull you out of the cycle that you was in so that you can get to know him as the great I am. Another thing that he might allow you to be in this space of ice or middle of nowhere is so that he can cultivate the new version of you. The person that he created you to be originally before you got in the way. Maybe he needed to pull you out of the midst of all your chaos so that you can learn who they are. He or she, whoever's watching. And another thing that God also showed me is that being in the middle of nowhere, the test is for a testimony. And that testimony is not just for you, to be reminded and be encouraged, but also to go and share. Go and share with somebody else what God has done. I literally just had my first speaking engagement in Kansas City a couple of weeks ago. And ironically, it was about, the message was about the power of your testimony. And I'm like, God, I don't want to do that. I'm in the middle of, I don't want to. I'm all these things about why I couldn't do it. But God was like, people need to see what it looks like to still obey God in the middle of nowhere. Don't wait until it's perfect. Let me not wait so I can tell you a happy beginning, middle, and end. It's like, no, I'm in the middle of that thing and I still don't know. I'm still very much dependent on God. But this is what he's done thus far. And this is how I got to this point. And if he can do it for me, he can do it for you. So I've had to live that, like, very, as uncomfortable as I felt or whatever, that was blessed by God. And it blessed other people. And so your testimony is not always just about you. But what I will say is that people watch how you handle certain things, especially if you call yourself a Christian. We got a lot of Christian influencers and things like that. But where's the fruit? How are you acting in the midst of adversity? How are you stewarding the season that God has given you? Do you really got a heart of Christ? Like, are you leading people closer to him, closer to you, closer to the world? Like, what's happening here? And another reason you could be in the middle of nowhere, you feel like, is because God just wants to reveal those things that are in your heart. Sometimes it takes that sacrifice, like fasting. It'll reveal some stuff to you. It'll reveal those things in your heart. The more, when you fast, when you limit your distractions and you actually get to see yourself, it'll limit that. And another thing is just so that way you can learn how to strengthen your spirit and your discernment. Like, when God starts to reveal things to you, you start to hear his voice more. You'll get stronger. Your faith will get stronger. That's why I say, like, I know I'm a lot stronger, because had what I'm going through right now, happened to me, I would say a year ago, 2 years ago, oh baby, it would have been a goner. I would have been laid out on the couch, drunk somewhere, stressed out, crying, probably packed up and moved on somewhere else now, But God has allowed me to be processed in this time. But I know my faith is so much stronger now. Now I'm not going to just talk about the goodness of God because of what somebody else said. Baby, I've lived it. I've lived through his faithfulness. I've lived through his provision. I've lived through his protection. I've been in times and situations that only God can help. And he was the only one who did. Wherever you are, you might feel like you're in the middle of nowhere, but I promise you, you are everywhere that God intends you to be, even if it hurts right now. So if you are listening to this podcast, you're hearing the words that I'm saying to you, like, you're in the middle of nowhere, but God got his eyes right on you. You're not alone. He still sees you. He hasn't forgotten about you. His word will come to pass. If he said it, he meant it. So no matter what you have to hold on, what you've experienced, you hold on to that word. You get deeper you get closer to him, because the time is coming. Like, all we gonna have to depend on is God. And so if you ain't strengthened your inner man now, what you gonna do when real disaster strike if you don't know who he is now? This is something. So my pastor actually just had a message a couple of weeks ago. It was called "No Weapon Will Prosper." I'll make sure I put the link in the description. But it was just an encouraging word. Like, yeah, the Bible doesn't say that trouble won't come. It doesn't say that just because you are a Christian that life is gonna get easier. No, it's just, I'm gonna be with you. He's gonna be with you through everything that you experience. When people always say, well, if God was real, why are all these bad things happening? God, they will happen anyway. But it's like, do you have faith in God or not? We don't know why bad things happen. They just do. It's just we live in a fallen world. But God will be with you. He will help you. He will comfort you. He will help you get through those hard things. So I just don't want you to throw the whole God away because you went through something bad. Now you live in a life unprotected and without him, when his word got everything that you need. And so I'm sharing all this because I just want you to be encouraged. I'm encouraging you as I'm encouraging myself. I'll make sure that I linked up that sermon from my pastor below. But I hope that this has been encouraging. I hope that it has spoke to you in some way. And if you don't need it now, save it, because you might need it later. If somebody that you know might be going through a hard time, they feel like they're alone, they feel like they're isolated, send this to them, because they're not alone. Because I feel sometimes isolated. I feel like I'm in the middle of nowhere and God has like left me. But then I have to go back through that checklist that I just shared, and I have to be reminded, like, oh, God is with me. Whatever. It's like I've changed my words to like, God, why me? But like, why? First of all, why not you? But God, what are you trying to show me in this? What are you trying to teach me about myself? What are you trying to teach me about you? Who do you want me to become in this season? Who can I go and serve? Like, like, it's just go deeper. Don't just take the adversity and then wear it on your back. Go a little deeper. Ask a few more questions. Because that's definitely something that has helped me, and I hope that it helps you, and I hope that this encourages you. when I talked about worship music earlier, I meant to mention that I have a playlist called Let It Be the Playlist. And I do have that link below as well. But it is a playlist full of encouragement. If you are like, I don't know no gospel songs, no Christian songs, no encouraging songs, it is a playlist full of songs that I listen to, and I'm in my seasons of uncertainty when I feel like I don't have no words and I need to be encouraged. Sometimes music does it for me. And so I'll share that resource with you. It's a couple songs that I was going to mention that I have been listening to lately that have been, I don't know, like really encouraging and helping me during this time. Where'd it go? Just a couple, like one of the favorite ones that I've been like listening to lately is called, Oh You Praise by Elevation Worship. I listen to that song over and over and over and over again. Another one is Forgive and Forget by Red Worship. And then I love Kiera Shear's new song. It's called Rain. That's just an encouraging song, something that I play when I need to get my spirit uplifted and encouraged and all the things. But I have so much coming with Let It Be for this season. Not just a podcast, and I'll share this if you're watching the episode or listening. I'm going to start a Bible study. And so I have the information, but you have to go to my website and subscribe to my email list, because all the information is going to be coming through the email. I might share it a little bit on social media, but we're going to start a Bible study, because I know sometimes reading the Bible can feel overwhelming and like, I don't even know where to start or what to do. And so I want to create, like, Let It Be is more than a podcast. It's a community. And so we're going to get connected. We're going to grow deeper in the word, just get to know ourselves. And so we can walk in the purpose and walk in the authority that God has given us. But I don't want to assume that maybe you know that you just got a relationship with God. Maybe you don't. Maybe you've heard of him. Maybe you haven't accepted him as the Lord of your life. But I just invite you, because it is the best decision that you could ever make. It's the best, like the only thing that's secure is a word from God. But all the things that I share won't mean nothing if you don't know him. So I just invite you to, like, I don't have no special say this prayer and you're going to be saved. It's like, make a decision. You ask God, God, show me who you are. God, will you reveal to me who you are? In the Bible, if you read John 3, it talks about like why Jesus came. He was a sacrifice for us so that way we could be reconciled back to our Father, because we were in sin. Like, that's the gospel. But to go deeper than that, okay? Because like faith doesn't stop at salvation. That's where it starts. So you understand that Christ died for your sins, but then what? He didn't just die for you to just be here and say, oh, I'm saved. He wants to walk with you. He wants to be a part of every part of your journey. So I just invite you to ask God a question like, God, who are you? Show me who you are. Show me who I am in you. How do you see me? Help me enter into I want to enter into a relationship with you. But that has to be a sincere desire, because then he'll start to show you. And it might feel like your life is falling apart, but I promise you it's falling into place. But that is it. That is all. I'm so excited. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Let It Be the Podcast. Stay tuned, because I'm so excited for this season, for all that God is going to do. I have some great conversations, great guests. But for real, get plugged in, because it's going to be a virtual Bible study, by the way. So everybody's welcome. There's no limit. I have all the information, but sign up for my newsletter on BrieFergie.com. You can follow me on social media at BrieFergie. You can follow and subscribe to the podcast at Let It Be Podcast. I'm on all streaming platforms. Subscribe to this YouTube video if this is something that you enjoyed. But until next time, I will talk to y'all later. Bye.